bringing you guys content like no other. Let's just dive right into it. Let me scroll down to the bottom here. Santander. This came out. Chad Steingraber posted Ripple Bank partner Santander partners with WorldPay to give UK customers access to secure and innovative ways to accept payments. Guess what? WorldPay uses XRP for settlement. Pretty big news, guys. Santander has some deep ties with Ripple. Well, isn't that interesting? WorldPay, Ripple, XRP settlement. I don't think that's by chance. I posted this today. Some just don't make it across the finish line. Bitcoin maxis will soon understand that XRP is what Bitcoin was supposed to do. But I'm afraid it will be when XRP dethrones Bitcoin. And then, my friend, it's too late. I meant that by saying this, guys. XRP's days are numbered. XRP's price, where it's at, is I think it's around $2.20. That price is going to be long gone in the coming weeks. That's how close I think we are to seeing the price of XRP see, another 500% jump, 1500% jump, maybe even bigger, because we have never seen anything like this, guys. We are getting crypto regulation, we are getting crypto clarity laws, market infrastructure. We did not have this 5, 10, 15 years ago. And it's all aligning with the alt season. We haven't started yet, but I believe this is going to be the biggest monumental alt season in crypto history. And XRP hitting a $5 trillion market cap, $10 trillion market cap, or even higher is not going to seem silly. And it's all because the crypto, the projects, the utility-driven assets that have real-world use case that are aligning themselves within the rules, within the laws that are, in the documents of the crypto regulation, the Clarity Act, the ones that are positioning themselves within these rules are going to succeed. And you have to think about this. Bitcoin, no one knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. And he is the largest holder of Bitcoin. Think about that. Like, you can't have that asset be involved with settlement. Right now, it's the narrative that's backing it. It's a store of gold. It's a store of value. Well, guys, I hate to break it to you, but yes, it's a scarce asset. There's a limited supply, but the only thing driving the price of XRP is one MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor is buying Bitcoin at a ridiculous rate, and he is bringing on a lot of leverage. And he may not seem scared because he's trying to put off this front. Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million. Personally, I don't think Bitcoin's going to ever hit that high. Once we get crypto regulation and laws in place, I think that Bitcoin is going to probably see a large pullback down to $5, $10, $15, $20,000. You need new money coming into that asset class in order for that price to be driven up. There's no utility. It's slow, it's inefficient. The cost of transactions are extremely high. And our friend here, Gary Cardone, is a Bitcoin maxi and hates seeing XRP succeed. And, it doesn't get more obvious where the world is going. You just can't make this up. The European surveillance coin is set to run on XRP. Option out with Bitcoin while you still can. No, my friends. Bitcoin is the last resort. The Euro digital stablecoin is going to launch on XRPL, bringing more value to the XRP ledger. So, block out the noise. Know what you're holding. Have diamond hands. And just stay true to your conviction, my friends. And I posted this today just to remind you guys, just to go off on what I was telling you guys earlier about Bitcoin. Although Bitcoin's value is artificially elevated, actual wealth is shifting toward utility-driven assets that drive tokenization, cross-border payments, and regulated finance. Basel 3, they have a meeting, I think, is it this month? Or it might be in July. Gold-backed stablecoins and real-world adoption are gaining momentum daily. That's where the world is headed, guys. 5 years from now, I promise you, this is not financial advice. Everything I say is just educational and entertainment purposes. But if you position yourself in the projects that have real-world use case that's solving real-world problems, that has utility, you are going to see your life, your family's life transformed. Your wealth is going to be more than what you're making at your job right now. So right here we got Jungle Inc. crypto news. This is pretty big news. XRP integration confirmed by Cardano founder Charles Hoskin just announced that XRP support is coming to the Lace wallet, the official light wallet developed by Input Output. Lace is going multi-chain. It already added Bitcoin support. Now it's preparing to bring XRP into the fold. This is a major shift, guys. Because his previous stance on XRP was the complete opposite. And now he is wanting to integrate it into the Lace wallet. That's huge, man. Let's continue on right here. Patience is key. Massive sea change is coming. Brad Garlinghouse at XRP Las Vegas. Here we go, guys. Let's listen to this.
Shift. So, I mean, look, this is going to sound a little hyperbole, but it is an amazing time to be alive and see this shift of headwinds to tailwinds. And I think people still underestimate how profound that will be when the largest economy in the world and the most important regulatory bodies in the world go from being hostile, openly and actively hostile and counterproductive, to constructive, to how do we partner with this industry? It's a massive sea change. I think people underestimate.
To continue what he said, it's a great time to be alive. I'm just going to piggyback on it for a second. We have never seen an asset class like it. This is completely brand new. Like my grandparents, they could have bought real estate back in the day for pennies at what it is now. And that's kind of where we're at, guys. Like, I'm 24 years old, turning 25 this year, and I can position myself where the world is heading next with digital assets. And years down the road, if like I said earlier, if you just grab the right projects, do your research, your own financial advice, that's kind of where we're at. This is the biggest wealth transfer in history. So let me just
estimate how consequential that will be over 2025, 2026 and beyond. Now, one of the things in the Hidden Road acquisition particularly, I think Ripple tries to be a little bit, we're kind of at the infrastructure layer. We try to think about where the world is going and make bets that are going to play out over years. I've always talked about, and this community particularly has been extremely patient as we have fought some frustrating fights. But the Hidden Road acquisition,
which was all staged, all right? We live in a simulation. It was all staged.
Is really about continuing to build bridges between traditional finance and decentralized finance. And I think if you believe that it's just going to be, okay, the DeFi world is just going to grow and replace it, I don't believe that. We have to bridge that gap. And Ripple has been working around our payments business and bridging that gap for almost a decade. And for me, Hidden Road represents, if we want the largest market makers, the largest hedge funds in the world to come into this ecosystem, we need the infrastructure to enable that. Hidden Road is one of the fastest growing non-bank prime brokers. Most of the players in the prime broker space are the traditional commercial banks. And for those guys have been hostile towards crypto because of the regulatory dynamic. That's changing a little bit, but Hidden Road, I think, is a subtle, almost flex to their hundreds of clients, names you've heard of, the largest, financial players in the world. They're using Hidden Road. They cleared $3 trillion last year. They're growing very quickly, and frankly, with Ripple's balance sheet, we're only going to see that accelerate. That's great for the XRP ecosystem. That's great for RLUSD. And I will keep reminding people, Ripple is completely committed to what we can do to make XRP the most trusted, the most useful, and the most liquid digital asset on the planet. We will always be committed to that.
That was a pretty big statement from Brad Garlinghouse, the man, the legend himself. At the end there, when he said that Ripple's promising to make XRP the most useful, the most liquid. That's a true statement. And we're so close to seeing that play out. Like XRP, the floodgates are opening for XRP, guys. I believe this month, that we could see the spot ETFs approved. We could see the next jump of XRP probably towards the end of June going into July. There's XRP technical analysis experts coming out saying XRP could go to $27. That's huge. And guys, when it goes to that, it's not coming back down because you have utility stabilizing the price of XRP. So this is truly the last chance for XRP, guys. And that's why I decided to title the video as is, not to scare people, but just to get this information out to people, because this wealth transfer opportunity that is standing right in front of us will be the last for a long time. I probably won't see another one in my lifetime. My kids will be lucky if they see one in their lifetime. That's how important this is. It's a reset of the monetary system. That is what we are dealing with. It's much bigger than you think. Right here, the M2 global money supply is the blue. Bitcoin is the black. You see it? So Bitcoin we'll probably see a $200,000 Bitcoin at the end of the year. But don't let it fool you guys. Bitcoin is being propped up by Tether and MicroStrategy themselves. And when the narrative starts to flip towards utility-driven assets, the crypto regulation, the laws, and all that gets passed, Tether is going to fall and fail. And once we see Japan's oil prices rise and they raise interest rates, the dominoes are going to start falling over, and the XRP is going to appreciate like no other, guys. Like it's crazy to even think about it. Zoom, XRP coil breakout. Look at it's been trading sideways in this pennant formation for 6 months now, and it's gonna gear up probably to double digits without ease, guys, with ease. The blockchain technology innovation is here to stay and will continue to grow. This came out today. Ripple strengthens its blockchain. Sorry, I didn't mean to click on it. Education efforts in the Asia Pacific region, allocating an additional $5 million through its university blockchain research, spanning 6 countries. Again, it's right in front of our faces, guys. They're paying millions of dollars. They're donating money to advance the innovation of blockchain because that's where we are headed. Pretty cool here. What do we see? South Korea moves to legalize crypto stablecoins. Every country is wanting to tokenize their debt with stablecoins, and right now, the only regulated stablecoin is RLUSD. They're probably going to come out with their own stablecoin or adopt RLUSD and put it on the XRP ledger. We're going to see more of that. Guggenheim Treasury XRP ledger. This released today. It's probably an NDA that expired. They're wanting to tokenize their debt and place it on the XRP ledger. Z Economy and XRP. With over $280 million of volume to date, the Z Economy powered DCP marks the first native issuance of digital commercial paper on the XRP ledger, broadening institutional access. Again, this is literally the only beginning. It's starting to accelerate because the clock's ticking. The United States government, they have $37 trillion worth of debt, with the big beautiful bill adding about $4 to $5 trillion. Secretary Scott Bessent said that they're not going to default on the debt. So what does that mean, guys? There's only one choice. They're going to turn on the money printer and they're going to print more money, which is going to drive up assets, the prices of assets. This is the game that the rich play, and you have to understand it. Here we go. The financial services, GOP, We are now considering the Clarity Act by chairman. They're trying to pass these guys as fast as they can because it just opens the floodgates. Here's Rep. Brian Steele in support of the Clarity Act. Let's hear what he has to say, huh?
Partisan you by thanking former Chairman for their work on the digital assets market structure over the last few years. I think it should be really important to note that moments ago, our colleagues on the Ag Committee passed the Clarity Act 47-6 in an overwhelming bipartisan manner. Moments ago, the Ag Committee passed the Clarity Act, which we are discussing right now, 47-6 in an overwhelming bipartisan vote. Mr. Chairman, I feel optimistic that we can move forward on this legislation in a bipartisan manner also, because at the end of the day, market structure clarity is not about Democrats or Republicans. It's about moving our country forward. In my opinion, Mr. Chairman, today we have a really unique opportunity, a responsibility, in fact, to build on the progress that we have made in the previous Congresses on this critical legislation. The Clarity Act incorporates ideas and feedback from stakeholders, experts, members of Congress from across the ideological spectrum. Crucially, this bill is going to cement the U.S. as the center of innovation in the digital asset space for the next generation of the internet. The Web3 revolution is truly here. Innovators are coming up with new ways to build decentralized systems that support creators, reduce costs, and improve transparency. But our laws in the United States have not kept.
Web3, he said, guys. Web3 is finally here. That's what they are calling this next industrial revolution. So if you guys want to do more research on your time, look up Web3, look up digital assets, the Fantastic Four. You got XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR. I'm solely consolidated into XRP because personally my belief is that XRP is going to bring the highest ROI, and I can then diversify into other digital assets when the price appreciates. That's my strategy. It's not financial advice, but that's what I am playing, how I am playing, guys, okay?
Up with the pace of innovation and development. So what's occurred in the meantime, legal ambiguity has pushed innovation and jobs offshore. It's stifled investment. It's put American consumers at risk of fraud. This bill will put in place a common sense framework that supports responsible development here in the United States. The Clarity Act provides straightforward answers to key questions. One, what are digital assets and when do transactions implicate securities laws? What role should the SEC and CFTC play in regulating issuance or trading through centralized intermediaries? How can we reduce regulatory fragmentation between these two agencies?
So that's pretty much it, guys. You know, he's going to ask a couple more questions, but it's just pretty much going to provide clarity and be able to answer questions that come up around digital assets, and it's going to create the space safer for the average person, the average American. That is probably going to be passed at the end of June, early July. The Genius Act should be passed this week. So, the last thing I said today, guys, I found out that there's about 5,000 XRP that's burned daily. Supply shock is only inevitable, and the price of XRP will not be anywhere near, at the time of this video, $2.28. The days are numbered if you're an XRP holder. And if you're not in XRP, you know, this is not financial advice, but I do think the days are running out where we are seeing this price of an XRP. It's basic supply and demand economics for an asset that is just like XRP. You know, every transaction XRP is burned. You cannot create new XRP, and like I said, guys, this is once in a lifetime asset that you should be able to get your hands on. Let's go look at the chart. Never mind, let's not look at the chart. But the chart, all-time chart for XRP, it's one of the most how do I say this? Most not scaring looking charts, but just charts that make you go like, wow. You know, like from the time of birth for XRP to where it's at now, it is one of the scariest looking charts to be trading right now. The next leg for XRP will be astronomical. And it's going to be around the time where we get all these regulation and crypto laws passed, and you got the spot ETFs coming out this month for XRP. So with that being said, guys, do not let this opportunity slip away from you. Do not. Get dialed in, stay focused, stop worrying about other people's businesses, and take ownership of where you are at. Learn about Web3 and where this world is headed, because if you don't, you will be left behind. There is not going to be a middle class anymore. There's going to be the rich and there's going to be the poor. So you either own the rails that the system runs on, or you get left out. So that's just kind of the overall theme of the video today, guys. If you could do me a favor, if you found this content valuable, share it with whoever is close to you. Leave a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe, and I will be back with another video. XRP Bro out.